Chapter 60. More than 10 kilometers west of Warlock College Xianxia, in a small inn at the edge of the main road, in the largest room, there were 4 people sitting at a huge table. 2 of the women were precisely Anya and Irene. One of the other 2 was a young man dressed in a gray apprentice warlock's changpao. The cuffs of the changpao had 3 copper threads, he had hawk-like eyes and a hooked nose, his whole body was filled with traces of a bloody aura. The other person was a man with a body as sturdy as a bear. He was dressed in a gray warlock's changpao. The cuffs of the changpao had 3 copper threads, he had short blue hair and there was an animal claw mark on the left side of his face. The young man with traces of a bloody aura around his body stared at Anya, his eyebrows tightly creased as he said in a deep voice, "Anya, why did you invite him? He's just a good-for-nothing with a good uncle. A guy who was completely piled up with resources. In terms of battle prowess, I'm afraid that he wouldn't even be able to beat a great knight. That kind of guy would only be a burden." Anya's eyebrows arched as she said, "Trux, pay attention to your words. Could it be that you've forgotten the lesson of that idiot Bantanya? Or do you want to become the second idiot's laughingstock?" Bantanya's matter had already been widely spread in Warlock College Xianxia, moreover it was synonymous with idiot and idiot. It was precisely because of this that Yang Feng didn't receive any provocation in Warlock College Xianxia. Although the majority of the students were jealous and despised him for relying on his family's power to rapidly promote himself as a good-for-nothing, but no one dared to say any provocative words in front of him. Trux's eyebrows creased slightly, he clenched his fists, he stared at Anya, his eyes flashed with a touch of anger and he said coldly, "Anya, could it be that you want to go inform that good-for-nothing? Could it be that our friendship can't compare to that good-for-nothing? What's so good about him? Isn't it just that he has a good uncle? If it wasn't for his uncle, then he would be nothing." "Trux, don't say any more," the man with an animal claw mark on the left side of his face said in a deep voice. The man with an animal claw mark on his face obviously had a higher status. Once he spoke, Trux immediately became silent, but Trux's eyes still surged with traces of anger and jealousy. There was a knock on the door. Irene went to open the door. A young man with a head full of short black hair and an ordinary appearance, dressed in a gray apprentice warlock's changpao with 3 copper lines embroidered on the cuffs, walked into the room under the escort of 2 tall and sturdy men with bear-like bodies, practically carved from the same mold. The young man with short black hair and an oriental face was Yang Feng. Anya swept the 2 bodyguard-like men beside Yang Feng with a glance, her eyebrows raised, her beautiful eyes flashed with a touch of anger and her voice carried a trace of coldness. "Yang Feng, did you tell others about the relic's information?" Trux disdainfully smiled and ridiculed, "Ha, I knew it would be like this. Yang Feng, a young master like you really doesn't keep his word. Annie, you must be blind to invite such a guy." The gaze of the man with a claw mark on his face congealed, he sized up the 2 bodyguards beside Yang Feng for a while, and then said in a deep voice, "What exquisite mechanical golems! If not for the fact that they don't have any life aura, I would have believed them to be humans. Steel City's mechanical golem legion truly lives up to its reputation." Mechanical golems? Anya was startled, her anger dissipated, she carefully stared at the 2 robots beside Yang Feng for a while. A spirit ripple shrouded the 2 robots and a touch of apology welled up on her face. "I'm sorry, Yang Feng, I misunderstood you." Trux snorted coldly and went silent. The man with a claw mark on his face took the initiative to step forward and said, "I'm Pierre. Yang Feng, I'm very sorry, this time's exploration is too important for us. Trux and Anya are somewhat overreacting." Yang Feng said with a smile, "It doesn't matter. Since everybody is here," said Pierre. "Then let's set off." No one had any objections, they turned around and left the inn. The obscure mountain range was located at the junction of the 3 great forces, Warlock College Xianxia, Savage Claw and Rose Garden. The resources within the obscure mountain range were barren and the environment was dangerous, therefore, the 3 great forces didn't pay attention to this region. All kinds of wanted criminals, scum, non-human races as well as existences that couldn't survive in human society, they all converged in this region, forming small cities. The door of an inn was pushed open, 7 young men and women dressed in adventurers' attire walked in. It was Yang Feng and his entourage. Adventurers were people with martial prowess. They went on adventures everywhere, completed missions and earned money. Their social status was only slightly higher than that of a lord's subjects. They could rely on their adventurer's crest to travel all over the world. Wherever there was money to be made, that's where they would be found. The activities of adventurers weren't as romantic as many people imagined, but were instead full of danger, betrayal, and death. A relatively valuable treasure might cause a group of adventurers to kill each other. Once they entered the inn, Yang Feng saw that the small inn was packed with people. A large number of adventurers were drinking ale, eating barbecued meat, and talking loudly. There were even some adventurers very vulgarly hugging women and molesting them in public. Anya and Irene saw this scene, their eyebrows creased slightly. They were of aristocratic origin. They felt a trace of discomfort towards this scene. They casually found an empty table and sat down. Yang Feng's gaze fell on a maid's body, his eyes revealing a trace of interest. Is that a beast man? No, it should be a woman from the Rabbitman clan, a race similar to humans. The maids in this small inn basically all had a pair of long rabbit ears, a petite figure, appearance similar to that of an ordinary human woman, hair color mainly blue or brown. Their looks were also relatively beautiful. Such rabbit-eared women were called Rabbitman clan, belonging to a race similar to humans. They were also the descendants of playthings that warlocks caught from other worlds. Rabbitman clan didn't have much strength and evolution potential, but they looked petite and cute, belonging to some warlocks' preferred pets. Hey beauty! My name is Dolly. How about coming over to play with us? 5 gold coins for 1 night. I guarantee that you'll have a wonderful night. A tall bald man dressed in leather armor, his body exuding a faint smell of blood, walked over with large strides, as if there was no one else present. He grinned towards Anya and said, "In this small inn, the beautiful Anya of aristocratic origin gave people a feeling of being a crane among chickens." Apart from Anya, Irene was also a little beauty. Gazes brimming with greed and desire concentrated on Yang Feng's party. Chapter 61. Yang Feng's mind moved. Scan this person's information. Duo Li basic attributes, strength 2. 1, agility 1. 9, physique 2. 5, spirit 1. 4, blood meridians, ordinary human. Spirit aptitude, inferior level 2. General evaluation, currently classified as a level 3 life form. Evolution potential is small. The corners of Yang Feng's mouth rose slightly, brimming with delight. Such a weak guy, mortals are mortals. Although Duo Li looked tall and sturdy, brimming with deterrence compared to Yang Feng's group of 7, but his strength simply couldn't be compared to Yang Feng's group of 7. Before Yang Feng had transmigrated, such a tall and sturdy man like Duo Li was an invincible existence. But now, even if Yang Feng's hand was tied, he could still beat him. Lowly guy, go to hell. Truck's eyes flashed with a whiff of an ominous glint. He stood up as fast as lightning and fiercely punched Duo Li's abdomen with the speed of a clap of thunder. A terrifying power erupted in a flash, directly punching Duo Li, who weighed close to 100 kilograms, sending him flying for more than a dozen meters, knocking down countless chairs along the way. After Duo Li, who was as sturdy as a bear, fell to the ground, he spat out a mouthful of blood containing fragments of internal organs and directly fell to the ground, no longer breathing. Dead. Duo Li was killed by that guy's punch. Knight, that guy is a knight rank expert. No. Great knight, he's a great knight. The adventurers in the inn at once clamored. Their gazes fell on Trucks, brimming with dread and dread. Duo Li's teammates looked at each other, their eyes flashing with anger. But after they were swept by Trucks with a glance, they all lowered their heads, not daring to look him in the eye, then directly paid the bill and left. The inn was already located in the range of the obscure mountain range. In this range, the fist was the truth. Everyday people died in fights and fights. Those who weren't strong enough would just die if they died. Adventurers were generally existences below the knight rank. A great knight rank expert, even if all the adventurers in the inn attacked together, they would still be massacred. The eyes of the bartender responsible for bartending in the inn flashed with a whiff of a peculiar glint. His eyebrows slightly creased and he remained silent. A maidservant came to the table of Yang Feng and Company, a frightened expression on her face, and said timidly, "I'm sorry, sirs, but you broke the tables and chairs." Trux revealed a trace of an evil smile. He stared at the maid of the rabbit tribe and sinisterly said, "What? Do you want me to compensate you?" The beautiful face of the rabbit race maid turned pale, her delicate body trembled, and her voice trembled. Pierre said indifferently, "That guy's body is yours. The weapons and leather armor on him are enough to pay for our meals and lodging, as well as the compensation for the broken tables and chairs." Pierre didn't have Yang Feng's huge resources. The resources he consumed to promote to a level 3 warlock were obtained from countless life and death situations, and his adventuring experiences were also very rich. If there wasn't a mechanical legion, then 10 Yang Fangs might not necessarily be Pierre's match, a level 3 apprentice warlock who had gone through countless battles step by step. But with the help of the mechanical legion, even 10,000 Pierres wouldn't be a match for Yang Feng's mechanical legion. "Thank you." The maid of the rabbit tribe heaved a sigh of relief. She gratefully said a few words and promptly retreated. Several robust men with martial prowess came out from the back of the inn, dragged Dolly's body and disappeared. The rabbit tribe's maids very skillfully came out and carried out the cleanup work. Not long after, the inn was restored to its original state. Only, the voices of those adventurers lowered by a lot. Their gazes would from time to time revolve around Truck's body and then move away. After Yang Feng and his entourage simply ate a bit, they then went to their respective rooms to rest. At night, in the basement of the inn, the dim candlelight brought a trace of light to the basement. 3 people were sitting at a table in the room. One of them was the rather handsome bartender. The other one was a malformed tumor on his head. His appearance was ugly, his countenance was malevolent, a middle-aged man. The last one was dressed in black clothes, his skin was wrinkled, his face was covered with age spots, his skin was pale, the space between his eyebrows was shrouded in a layer of black chi. The old man used an unpleasant and hoarse voice to whisper, "Gilles, are you sure those 5 people are apprentice warlocks?" Gilles' eyes flashed with a whiff of disgust as he said, "That's right, Graham Darren, apprentice warlocks have a stinking life force, I can smell it from several li away. They even disguise themselves as adventurers, it seems like their plot isn't small." Graham's eyes flashed with a whiff of doubt as he said, "Why would apprentice warlocks come here? This place is barren of resources and full of dangers, it's simply not a good place for them to gain experience. Could it be that my lord's plan was discovered by them?" Graham's gaze fell on a golden statue in the room, his heart jumped and he whispered. In the center of the room was placed a statue with 3 heads, a wolf's head, a human's head and a tiger's head, a beast-like sturdy body, long claws on both hands and feet, a pair of wings on its back and a scorpion tail. That statue of a devil seemed to be alive. Its eyes would turn from time to time, flashing with a cruel and strange radiance, coldly watching the 3 people in the room. The man with a deformed tumor on his head gave a sinister smile. His killing intent surged as he said, "Graham, I'll just go and kill them all. Trifling apprentice warlocks, even if they die, it wouldn't attract too much attention." Graham shook his head slightly and said, "No. They might not have discovered my lord's plan. Those apprentice warlocks have strange means and formidable strength. Lek, you can't act, otherwise, once exposed and spoiled my lord's plan, even if you die 10,000 times, you still wouldn't be able to atone for your crimes." Gilles whispered, "Graham Darren, Dolly was killed by those people. Dolly was a Black Crows person. We can instigate the Black Crows to act against them and probe their origins." Graham said lightly, "Good. Gilles, I'll leave this matter to you. As long as you accomplish this, then after my lord descends to this world, he absolutely won't forget your merits. As long as you serve him loyally, the Great will definitely bestow you with power and wealth surpassing mortals." Gilles said with some excitement, "Yes. Graham Darren." That statue of a devil looked indifferently at everything that happened in the basement, The depths of its eyes revealed a trace of ridicule, its eyeballs slightly swiveled. It recovered its cruel, callous, and formidable form. Graham glanced at a mechanical clock in the basement and said lightly, "It's time, let's begin, Gills." "Yes, Graham Darren." Gills' eyes flashed with a touch of excitement. He got up and walked towards a corner of the basement and opened a cloth bag. Inside the cloth bag was a young woman with her mouth covered with tape. She fearfully looked at him and continuously twisted her body. Chapter 62. Gills gave a malevolent smile, tore off the tape on the young woman's mouth, picked up a butcher's knife and ruthlessly stabbed her. Inside the basement, the young woman's painful and mournful screams enveloped the room. Graham and Lek both had excited expressions as they watched this savage scene, their eyes flashing with excitement. The golden freak statue's eyes turned, traces of strange and savage fluctuations of power pervaded the basement. Gills and the other two's eyes instantly became incomparably red under the strange and savage fluctuations of power, completely unlike humans. The screams continued for a while before stopping. Graham held a still beating heart in his hands, raised it high and delivered it to the front of the golden freak statue. "Mighty my lord, please enjoy the offerings of your humble believer, may your glory envelop the endless plains." The golden freak statue at once emitted traces of red radiance. As if it came to life, it opened its mouth and bit down, swallowing the still beating heart. The three-headed golden freak statue's human face revealed a trace of satisfaction. Two rays of blood-red light shot out from its eyes and shrouded Graham's body. Under the red light, Graham's body trembled, and his eyes revealed traces of supreme joy. Traces of powerful fluctuations of power were emitted from his aged body, and the wrinkles and spots on his face also lessened a little. Gills watched this scene, his eyes flashed with a touch of jealousy and envy. According to what he knew, Graham had already lived for nearly 200 years. Apart from warlocks, it was the first time that Gills had seen someone live that long. Under the temptation of a long lifespan and formidable power, he also chose to believe in this formidable being from another plane. On the main road leading to the obscure mountain range, Yang Feng's group of 7 continuously advanced while riding black wildebeests. "Come out. I've already found you." In front of a narrow valley, Yang Feng suddenly pulled the reins, swept the small hillsides on both sides of the valley with a glance, his eyes flashing with a touch of ridicule. Pierre's eyes flashed with a touch of graveness. He waved his hand. Trucks and the others also pulled the reins, stopped advancing, their eyes flashing with a touch of vigilance. The two sides of the valley path were still quiet, there was no reaction. Annie took out a small bag and opened it. A fist-sized mutant dragonfly flew out. She chanted an incantation and pointed at the mutant dragonfly, and a green light shrouded the dragonfly. The mutant dragonfly flapped its wings and flew towards the other side of the hill. "Damn, it's an apprentice warlock. There's no need for an ambush. Everyone to get out." On the hillside, a burly man wearing a headscarf, with a ferocious appearance and a scimitar in his hand cursed and walked out with his subordinates. More than 200 fully armed warriors dressed in leather armor and armed with weapons appeared on both sides of the hillside. The tall and sturdy man with a headscarf and a scimitar in his hand looked coldly at Yang Feng's group of 7 and said coldly, "I'm Black Raven's second commander Terry. Apprentice warlocks, you killed our Black Raven's member Dolly. Hand over the 20 magic stones and we'll forget about this matter. Otherwise, all of you can stay here." Among the more than 200 warriors, more than 100 of them were armed with military crossbows. Military crossbows were the military's sharp weapons. 10 crossbows had the power to kill a knight rank expert. Those more than 100 military crossbows had the power to kill an apprentice warlock. Black Ravens could be considered as a relatively large force in this region. That's why they could get their hands on those more than 100 incomparably precious military crossbows. Small forces basically couldn't get their hands on them. Even so, Terry was still very cautious and chose to compromise. As long as there was a justifiable reason, he wasn't willing to become enemies with an adventurer's squad that had an apprentice warlock. "Mortals like ants, you still dare to attack us. All of you can go to hell." Trux gave a ferocious smile, He reached out with his hand and lightly touched his back. A magical radiance flickered and the huge copper chest on his back immediately opened. A set of steel armor weighing more than 200 Jin quickly covered his whole body, making him turn into a huge armored man. A magical radiance flashed on Truck's body. His figure flashed and directly rushed towards the direction of the tall and sturdy man like a heavy tank. Truck's cultivation direction was in the direction of a body-tempering warlock. Under the blessing of all kinds of level 0 spells, his fleshly body's strength was even comparable to that of some weak official warlock rank extraordinary life forms. Release the arrows. Terry's complexion changed greatly and he bellowed. The 100 crossbow warriors pulled their triggers one after another and a rain of densely packed arrows shot towards Trucks. Those crossbow bolts that could penetrate an ordinary knight's armor hit Trucks' body and directly pierced the armor, making Trucks look like a hedgehog. Under that rain of countless arrows, Trucks rushed into the crowd within a few breaths. He brandished his 2 m-long greatsword and forcefully chopped down, easily beheading 2 Black Ravens members. The Black Ravens members quickly surrounded him and used a variety of weapons to attack Trucks, but they were directly blocked by Trucks' body's armor. Then with a backhand slash, he chopped them into pieces. Anya's beautiful eyes flashed with a touch of a peculiar glint. She took out a fist-sized beehive from her backpack. She silently recited a few incantations and pointed at the fist-sized beehive. A green radiance directly entered the beehive. The fist-sized beehive immediately swelled and became the size of a bucket. Huge poisonous wasps flew out from the beehive, forming a small insect cloud and flew towards the Black Ravens members. The huge poisonous wasps formed an insect cloud and rolled towards the Black Ravens members. A large number of the Black Ravens members were stung in their exposed body parts. They immediately fell to the ground and struggled in extreme pain. Arcane projectiles. Yang Feng flicked his finger and a cluster of arcane projectiles was directly shot and blasted on the body of a Black Ravens member. That Black Ravens member's chest caved in, he fell to the ground and immediately died. During these 2 years, Yang Feng had always been concentrating on promoting his apprentice warlock rank. He had only grasped one true offensive spell, that was the simplest and most commonly used arcane projectiles. Although his apprentice warlock rank was high, but in terms of methods, he might not necessarily compare to Anya, who merely had the cultivation of a level 2 apprentice warlock. Pierre's gaze was cold and detached. He didn't act, but rather conserved his strength and was ready to deal with any possible mishaps. Anya similarly continuously cast arcane projectiles, the simplest level 0 spell, killing 1 Black Ravens member after another. Chapter 63. 4 Apprentice Warlocks. Fuck. How come there are so many freaks? When Terry saw this scene, his eyes flashed with a whiff of despair. He clenched his teeth and immediately turned around to flee. After the rest of the Black Crow's warriors saw the second commander flee, they also immediately turned around and abandoned their companions, directly fleeing towards the 2 sides of the ravine. More than 200 fully armed warriors facing 5 apprentice warlocks ended up suffering a crushing defeat. That's the terror of this world's apprentice warlocks. It's also the reason why warlocks, this group, is at the pinnacle of the world's ruling position, because they grasp this world's most formidable power. On the ground, there were only several dozen corpses of the Black Crow's warriors as well as more than 30 Black Crow's warriors who were stung into pigheads by the swarm of highly toxic bees. Spare me. Don't kill me. Save me, I'm willing to be your slave. The Black Crow's warriors all implored loudly. Go to hell. Go to hell. Go to hell. Trucks laughed malevolently. He brandished his great sword, as if he was stabbing ants, killing all of the Black Crow's warriors. Yang Feng watched as Trucks directly stabbed the Black Crow's warriors to death. His eyebrows slightly creased. He didn't say a word. They were going to the obscure mountain range. It was naturally impossible to bring along these burdens. Moreover, these Black Crow's warriors were also scum from other places. Their deaths weren't to be regretted. Pierre directly dismounted from his horse. He groped the Black Crow's warriors one by one and looted all of their valuables. Pierre was in a very carefree mood, he said with a smile. A bunch of paupers, they only have 103 gold coins on them. These military crossbows, weapons and leather armors are comparatively valuable. They can be sold for approximately 3,000 gold coins. The 5 of us, each of us can get 600 gold coins. Military crossbows can deal with knight rank experts. No matter which country it's a controlled strategic weapon, the price is also very expensive. Within the sphere of influence of the obscure mountain range, there's absolutely no need to worry about selling these military crossbows. Trux licked his lips and said somewhat excitedly, "Really good, it would be great if there were a bit more of these idiots." Yang Feng quietly watched from the side. He felt somewhat rueful within. This is the life of those low-level apprentice warlocks without a backer. For the sake of a few resources, they would risk their lives to kill and rob. A few magic stones was enough to make them dance in joy. If I hadn't defeated Fernandro clan and obtained the huge war reparations, and if NR 3796 didn't have the ability to synthesize elixirs, then I'm afraid that I would also be like them, running around everywhere for resources. It's basically impossible to promote to a level 3 apprentice warlock. On the warlock path, resources were omnipotent existences. As long as there were enough resources, even a trash could be nurtured into a peerless powerhouse. Without resources, even if one had peerless talent, one would only slowly become mediocre and eventually become immortal. Warlock College Antalya would enroll 1,000 elite students every year, but only a dozen or so people could be promoted to an official warlock every year. Many talented apprentices, because they didn't have enough resources, missed the best age to promote to an official warlock, and had no choice but to spend their lives as level 3 apprentice warlocks. "Let's go," Pierre said. Yang Feng and his party immediately left and went into the distance. 10 days later, at night, under a cliff in the depths of the obscure mountain range, in front of an enormous crevice stood 7 people. It was precisely Yang Feng and his party. Anya pointed towards the enormous crevice. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a whiff of excitement. "This is the entrance to the ruins of Gloom Cave. Wait until the moonlight shines on this crevice, then the gate leading to Gloom Cave will open." Pierre and the others also stared at the enormous crevice, their eyes flashing with a whiff of excitement. The warlock groups of the Third Warlock Dynasty era were by far more formidable than those of the modern era. In that era, an intermediate warlock group possessed the ability to cross planes, carry out planar travel, and capture formidable extraordinary life forms from other planes for research. An intermediate warlock group of that time could easily annihilate Tyrannid subcontinent's 6 great warlock groups. Such formidable warlock group, as long as there were a few well-preserved items left, they could be sold at sky-high prices in Tyrannid subcontinent. Yang Feng glanced at the enormous crevice. His eyes slightly narrowed. He said with a light smile, "Sorry, I changed my mind. I don't want to go inside and explore. How about this, you go inside first. Wait until you come out, then I'll use magic stones to trade with you and buy the items from you." Irene's complexion suddenly changed greatly along the way. She shouted, "What are you talking about? Yang Feng, are you playing with us?" Anya's pretty complexion changed slightly. She retreated a few steps and fumbled with a red crystal. Pierre and Trux were also greatly shaken. Their complexions changed greatly. They retreated a few steps and stared at Yang Feng, their eyes brimming with ill intent. Pierre's thoughts revolved. His face surged with a whiff of graveness. He shot a glance at Irene and Anya, the 2 women, and said in a deep voice, "What's going on? Yang Feng, did you discover something?" Yang Feng gave Pierre a somewhat appreciative glance. He said with a slight smile, "Pierre, your sense of smell is really sharp. If you continue to listen and know too many secrets, then you might die. I'm quite appreciative of you. If you leave now, then you'll still have a chance of survival. After you survive this time, you can go to Steel City to look for me. I'll let you be my subordinate." Trux had a puzzled expression. He glared at Yang Feng. His eyes flashed with a whiff of fierceness. He said fiercely, "In the end, what are you talking about? Yang Feng, why do you want to withdraw from this exploration? Quickly speak." "Since it's like this, then I'll take my leave first." Pierre's thoughts revolved lightning fast. He made a decision. He clenched his teeth. saluted Yang Feng and cautiously retreated from the way he came. Pierre's adventuring experience was very rich. At the same time his senses were also very keen. Once he felt that something was wrong, he would decisively leave. This was also an important factor for him to survive many dangerous adventures. Irene's pretty face suddenly distorted. She screamed loudly and retreated to Pierre's side. "Pierre, you're not allowed to leave. Kill him as long as you kill him. I can give you the spell model warping field for promoting to an official level 1 warlock. Also, there's the necessary alchemical elixir 100-year tree core liquid. Trux, kill him. As long as you can kill him, I can also provide you with the resources to promote to a level 1 warlock." When Trux heard that, his heart was moved. His eyes flashed with a whiff of greed as he looked at Yang Feng. He extended his hand and placed it on the copper box containing the secret treasure armor on his back. Pierre stared coldly at Irene, a frigid killing intent pervaded from his body. "Get out of the way, I don't want to be chased by Steel City's city lord because of this little bit of resources. Irene, I told you to get out of the way, otherwise don't blame me for being impolite." Irene felt Pierre's killing intent. Her pretty face changed and she hastily retreated to the side. She was very clear about Pierre's character. Once he made a decision, even if she stood in front of him, she would definitely be killed. Chapter 64. Truly a cunning guy. When did you discover me? At this moment, along with a sweet and pleasant voice, a beautiful woman dressed in a silver-white low-cut warlock's chongpao, with a silver thread on the cuffs, with a head full of golden waterfall-like long hair, as if a goddess from a myth, slowly walked out from the forest with a smile. "I've seen Teacher Eunice." Pierre looked at the goddess-like beautiful woman. He felt bitterness in his mouth, traces of an unknown premonition welled up in his heart, yet he still braced himself and saluted Eunice. "I've seen Teacher Eunice." Apart from Yang Feng, the other 3 people saluted Eunice respectfully. The disparity in status between apprentice warlocks and official warlocks was extremely huge. If an apprentice warlock was disrespectful towards official warlocks, then it would be a crime that was neither too big nor too small. Eunice stared at Yang Feng with a smile that wasn't a smile and said, "Yang Feng, you've got guts. You actually dare not salute me. Just based on this point, I can expel you from the college." Yang Feng said calmly, "Gloom Cave is a trap, right? There are no ancient relics in this crevice, yet it's filled with dangers. If I go in, then I'll definitely die. Teacher Eunice, I've always wanted to ask you, in the end, how did I offend you? Why do you want to deal with me like this?" The smile on Eunice's face disappeared, her pretty face somewhat distorted, her beautiful eyes flashed with disgust and contempt as she sneered, "Because you're Steel City's city master Yang Ye's only blood relative. My little darling Jessica is extremely disgusted with you. As long as she can get rid of you, then she'll definitely be very happy. Moreover, as long as I kill you, then your little sister Xianxia will be in my pocket. That beautiful as an angel girl isn't someone a waste like you can match. Even if a waste like you stays by her side, it would still tarnish her beauty. It's actually lesbian jealousy." Yang Feng was suddenly somewhat speechless. He didn't think that it was because Eunice was actually jealous of him staying by Xianxia's side that she wanted to get rid of him. Warlocks have a far longer lifespan than ordinary people. Simultaneously they wield formidable power. They are existences at the peak of this world. It's precisely because of this that the disparity between warlocks is extremely huge. Some warlocks lead extremely extravagant and depraved lives. For the sake of enjoyment, they dared to violate any kind of taboo. Some strange humanoid life forms were aberrations born from the union of human warlocks and other extraordinary life forms. Among the warlocks, homosexuality was not a rare thing. Moreover, warlocks have strange means. Some warlocks can completely change their gender. Even among warlocks, there were strange existences that could continuously transform between male and female, eating both men and women. In the eyes of ordinary people, warlocks were the group with the highest proportion of perverts. Yang Feng creased his eyebrows slightly and said solemnly, "You dare to kill me, aren't you afraid of the retaliation of Steel City's 100,000 mechanical golem legion behind me?" Eunice's eyes flashed with ridicule as she sneered. Do you think your Steel City's 100,000 mechanical golems are very strong? In front of Warlock College and Talia, your 100,000 Knight rank mechanical golems are simply too weak. Unless it's a mechanical golem with battle prowess comparable to that of an official warlock, only then would it be possible to threaten the safety of Warlock College and Talia. After you die, if Yang Yi is obedient, he can live for a few more years. If he dares to act out of line, the entire city of steel will be destroyed. Alright, I've satisfied your thirst for knowledge. Now you can go and die. Eunice's beautiful eyes flashed with a touch of a bewitching radiance. She confidently and handsomely snapped her fingers. A three-headed extraordinary life form the size of a palm jumped out from Eunice's bosom. It had the face of a beautiful woman on its back. It opened its small mouth, and a formless deadly sound wave shot out from its mouth. No! Teacher Eunice. Irene's eyes opened wide at once. She bled from her 7 orifices and rolled on the ground in pain. The level 3 apprentice warlock trucks, who could fight against 100 and defeat the Black Crow's warriors, issued a roar akin to a wounded beast, knelt on the ground and struggled in pain. Pierre, whose strength was unfathomable and possessed the strength of a pinnacle level 3 apprentice warlock, also bled from his 7 orifices. His body trembled and struggled in pain. Anya immediately fell to the ground, rolled on the ground in pain and implored, Teacher Eunice, why? The corners of Eunice's mouth rose slightly, revealing a beautiful smile, yet she said cruel words, Unfortunately, you know too much. In order to avoid trouble, I can only let you die. In the eyes of apprentice warlocks, mortals were ants. In front of such a formidable official warlock like Eunice, apprentice warlocks were only slightly more formidable ants. They could be casually killed. Yang Feng, who was protected by the 2 shield troops, was also hit by that strange sound wave and immediately went limp on the ground. Warning, warning, the sound wave has a hypnotic lethal effect on the host. Carry out emergency treatment, immediately cut off the sound transmission. A voice quickly sounded, directly shutting off the sound transmission system of the liquid metal robot that had transformed into Yang Feng. In a secret basement, Yang Feng, who was wearing a helmet and constantly struggling in pain, heaved a sigh of relief. His back was drenched in cold sweat and he had a lingering fear. Fuck, the methods of an official warlock are too strange and terrifying. Only without sound and my body not there, I was almost killed. Yang Feng's body already possessed the cultivation of a level 3 apprentice warlock. Among mortals, he was already considered as an extremely terrifying existence. But in front of Eunice, even if he was far away, he was still almost killed. This pervert, I must get rid of her. Yang Feng looked at the screen. His eyes flashed with a whiff of killing intent as he looked at the beautiful and alluring Eunice. The 2 shield troops at the edge of the huge crevice at once raised their shields. 2 transparent and colorless formidable protective covers suddenly appeared, completely shrouding the liquid metal robot that Yang Feng possessed. The liquid metal robot that Yang Feng possessed swayed slightly and immediately stood up. The extraordinary life form 3-headed human-faced cat's innate ability, Deadly Sound Wave, had boundless might towards life forms. Even level 2 warlock rank experts would be in grave danger if they were hit by its deadly sound wave. Some level 2 warlocks with slightly weaker physiques would even be directly killed. However, the deadly sound wave was basically ineffective against robots. Eunice was somewhat surprised as she said with a light smile, You actually didn't die? It seems like your uncle gave you a lot of top-notch protective secret treasures. However, do you think that a trifling 2 steel golems can protect you? If you obediently die, then it obviously wouldn't be that painful. The one who wants to deal with you isn't me. The corners of Yang Feng's mouth rose slightly, revealing a trace of a smile, and he said in a deep voice, Shui, come out. Get rid of this woman for me. Yes, Gidge. From the trunk of an enormous tree, a beautiful oriental young lady dressed in a black gothic lowly attire, with long hair like a black waterfall, snow-white jade-like skin, exquisite and glossy, a peerless appearance, and her whole body was filled with formidable fluctuations of power. This beautiful young lady, as if from a fairy tale, was precisely Xianxia, born from the taboo stone. Chapter 65. Level 1 Warlock. That's really inconceivable. That's awesome. Xianxia, you're really awesome, really wonderful. I'll definitely turn you into my possession. Eunice stared at Xianxia, her beautiful eyes flashed with fanaticism. She gasped slightly and said in a bewitching voice, "Xianxia, come to my side. As long as you follow me, I'll spare Yang Feng's dog life. I can provide you with a lot of resources. You can easily promote to a level 2 warlock. It's you, this lowly sow, who dared to injure my big brother Yang Feng. That's really a heinous crime. Let me properly educate you, correct your twisted character, and teach you how to conduct yourself." Xianxia's beautiful eyes flashed with a touch of bewitching radiance, her black hair fluttered, and an extremely formidable ice force field surrounded her body. Streaks of white light condensed in her right hand, forming a 2-meter-long white ice whip. "That's awesome. I'm liking you more and more." Eunice laughed somewhat crazily, her lily-white hands lightly pointed, and green rays of light shrouded a ring on her hands. Suddenly, a vine covered in sharp thorns extended from the ring. It was as thick as a python. At the tip of the vine was a 6-petaled tentacle. Within the tentacle were countless sharp teeth, and it ferociously bit at Xianxia. Xianxia was like an ice and snow fairy. She gracefully stepped forward. The ice whip in her hand ferociously lashed out, the ice whip at the demonic vine. In a flash, a tremendous ice force erupted, shrouding the demonic vine. The ice extended little by little, freezing the demonic vine into an ice sculpture, and the ice continued to spread towards Eunice's hands. Western Extreme Cold Ice Phoenix Method. A top-notch secret method. To be able to cultivate this secret method without any guidance, that's really outstanding. Eunice's eyes flashed with a touch of a peculiar light. She was full of praise. She casually flicked the ring in her hand away. When the ring left Eunice's lily-white hands, it immediately collapsed and turned into countless fragments. That fierce demonic vine also collapsed inch by inch, turning into ashes. The Western Extreme Cold Ice Phoenix art was a top-notch ice attribute secret art. If there was no one to guide or if one had a special constitution, it would be very difficult to achieve anything. For Xianxia to be able to cultivate this secret method to the boundary of a level 1 warlock in just a little more than a year, her talent was simply heaven-defying. However, my enemy is not you. Eunice smiled sweetly and retreated quickly. With a flash, she strangely appeared in front of Yang Feng. 2 thick vines instantly shot out from the ground and pierced through the shields of the 2 shield-bearers. The vines wrapped around the 2 shield-bearers and flung them to the side. "Stop. Otherwise, I'll kill your Yang Feng Gidge." Eunice reached out, grabbed Yang Feng and placed him in front of her, and then shouted at Xianxia. "Eunice, please have a taste of my gift to you." Yang Feng didn't have the slightest awareness of being a hostage. He gave Eunice a strange smile. Xianxia waved her jade-like hand, and a stream of cold air condensed in front of her, forming an ice wall. Eunice's heart welled up with a touch of a bad premonition. Her mind moved and she forcefully flung Yang Feng in an attempt to throw him away. Boom! Along with a terrifying loud noise, the remote-controlled bomb inside the liquefied metal robot that Yang Feng possessed detonated in a flash. A terrifying shock wave instantly engulfed Eunice. Sand, stones and steel fragments splashed everywhere, hit Xianxia's ice wall and bounced off. A figure flew out from the countless explosions and landed on the ground. It was Eunice. At this time, the silvery white warlock Chongpao on her body was already in tatters. That beautiful face was also stained with traces of smoke. Her golden waterfall-like long hair also had some traces of being burnt. She looked battered and exhausted. Official warlocks are really monstrous existences. They're still alive. Yang Feng saw Eunice was still alive through the scene of the reconnaissance satellite. He was somewhat speechless as he thought. The power of the liquefied metal robot that Yang Feng possessed could even blow apart a tank. Eunice unexpectedly didn't die from such a terrifying explosion. This showed that under the support of the magical power, she was much harder than a tank. Two snake-like ice whips shot out from the smoke and dust, ruthlessly whipping Eunice's body with lightning speed. The corners of Eunice's mouth reddened. Drops of blood dripped from her mouth, and before they fell to the ground, they turned into blood-colored ice beads. "You forced me to do this." Eunice was like an enraged lioness. A terrifying life force erupted from her body. She quickly, silently recited a series of incantations, her jade finger pointed towards the sky. Streams of star force scattered from the sky and were drawn into a necklace secret treasure around her neck that exuded star force. That necklace secret treasure exuding star force suddenly blossomed with an incomparably bright brilliance, enveloping Eunice's body and making her aura rise little by little. The block of ice that originally covered half of Eunice's body was directly shaken off. Under the illumination of the starlight, Eunice's body formed an incomparably powerful starlight force field, making her look as powerful and beautiful as the queen of stars that descended from the stars. Damn it, this is a level 2 secret treasure or above. Moreover, it matches the secret method that she practices. At present, I'm still not her match. Brother, it's your turn. Xianxia saw Eunice transform amidst the starlight. Her eyes flashed with a whiff of unwillingness. Her figure shook and she suddenly retreated. That kind of secret treasure that matches the cultivation secret method is very precious, and its effect is also very great. Under the strengthening of that secret treasure, Eunice now possessed terrifying battle prowess comparable to that of a level 2 warlock. Although Xianxia's innate talent was formidable and her battle prowess was terrifying, but she lacked a secret treasure and still wasn't Eunice's match. "Leave it to me. Eunice, let's start the second round." A voice reverberated in this area, and a mechanical bladed troop walked out from the side. Its upper body was humanoid, but it had 8 arms, and each arm was equipped with an alloy-long blade. Its head had countless insect-like compound eyes, as well as a bloody mouth full of sawtooth. Its lower body was beastly like a fierce tiger, and it had an incomparably sharp tail like an incomparably sharp spear. The mechanical bladed troop's insect-like compound eyes flickered and locked onto the goddess like Eunice. Chapter 66. As soon as the beast-type bladed troop appeared, it suddenly leapt violently and fiercely pounced towards Eunice. "A trifling mechanical golem also wants to block me? Break for me." Eunice's beautiful eyes flashed with a whiff of a peculiar glint. She silently recited an incantation and pointed with her lily-white hand. The starlight around her suddenly condensed and formed pearl-like shapes. Then, as if shooting stars madly bombarded the beast-type bladed troop. The beast-type bladed troop's chest flashed with a radiance, and a transparent protective cover instantly appeared outside its body. The pearls formed by the starlight bombarded the beast-type bladed troop's energy protective cover, setting off traces of ripples. The beast-type bladed troop instantly appeared in front of Eunice while resisting the countless starlight pearls. Its 8 enormous alloy blades fiercely chopped towards Eunice with a piercing sound. Eunice's pretty face changed slightly. She silently recited an incantation and the starlight around her flourished. She madly shook and a formidable rebounding force blasted at the beast-type bladed troop, directly sending it flying. "Yang Feng, your uncle really dotes on you. He even sent a mechanical golem with battle prowess comparable to a pinnacle level 1 warlock to protect you. If I were to destroy it, your expression would definitely be very amusing." Eunice gave a sweet smile and raised her lily-white hand high. Lumps of starlight turned into a whirlpool and condensed on her finger. She extended her hand and pointed towards the beast-type bladed troop. The starlight condensed into a thumb-sized beam of light and directly shot at the beast-type bladed troop's protective cover. The beam of light penetrated the beast-type bladed troop's protective cover and directly shot through its head. After the beast-type bladed troop's head was shot through, it continued to move and madly pounce towards Eunice. Eunice's pretty face finally changed slightly. "The head isn't a vital point? Fuck, that's how it is. I have to find its energy core, otherwise I can only destroy all of its joints. These mechanical golems are the most troublesome." Eunice took a deep breath and silently recited an incantation. The starlight around her frantically surged and condensed into the shape of stones. She pointed her jade finger at the beast-type bladed troop, starlight condensed into stones, and as if meteorites, madly bombarded the beast-type bladed troop. Under the bombardment of the countless meteorite-like starlight, the beast-type bladed troop's protective cover only lasted for less than a second before it completely collapsed. Then, under the bombardment of the countless stones, it disintegrated into countless components that scattered on the ground. Eunice looked at the dismembered beast-type bladed troop, slightly gasping for breath. Her aura weakened slightly. She took out a bottle of blue spirit strength potion and drank it. Killing that beast-type bladed troop consumed a lot of her spirit power and physical strength. Amazing! With the strength of a level 1 warlock, he was actually able to kill one of my guardian golems. Very impressive. Now, let's proceed to the third round and get rid of these fellows. From the side of the thicket came Yang Feng's chuckle, followed by a burst of rustling sounds. A beast-type bladed troop came out from the thicket. Eunice's beautiful eyes flashed with disdain. She laughed coldly and said, "It's these mechanical puppets again. If I can kill the first one, I can kill the second one. Don't be anxious. My guards still haven't completely come out." Yang Feng's voice had just fallen when bursts of sounds came from the thicket. One after another, beast-type bladed troops quickly jumped out from all directions and surrounded Eunice. Eunice looked at the more than 50 beast-type bladed troops. Her pretty face finally changed and a trace of cold sweat gushed out from her back. These beast-type bladed troops were currently Yang Feng's most powerful land close combat main battle troops. Each beast-type bladed troop's battle prowess was comparable to that of a pinnacle level 1 warlock. Even some extraordinary life forms comparable to level 2 warlocks weren't their match. 50 beast-type bladed troops could directly besiege and kill a level 2 warlock. Moreover, this time, Yang Feng had mobilized up to 300 bladed troops, completely covering the area and blocking all of Eunice's escape routes. Eunice's pretty face suddenly became charming and seductive. She said with a smile brimming with charm, "Hee, it's just a small misunderstanding. Yang Feng, is it worth making such a fuss over a minor issue? How about letting bygones be bygones? Henceforth, I'll still be your teacher. I'll carefully pass on the knowledge I've grasped to you and let you become an official level 1 warlock. That's right, I still have a very rare elf. You've also seen her beauty. I can also give her to you." Yang Feng's ice-cold voice came from within the beast-type bladed troop. "Teacher Eunice, it wasn't easy to lure you here. Do you think I'll let the tiger return to the mountain? Today, this will be your place of death. Rest in peace." Eunice gave a bewitching smile and said, "You want to kill me? That's not good. My father is Warlock College and Talia's dean, Starlight Aldrich." Warlock College and Talia's dean. Yang Feng's main body in the distance was greatly shaken when he heard that. His eyebrows creased at once. As Warlock College and Talia's dean, one of Tyrannid subcontinent's 6 great forces, Aldrich's strength definitely surpassed that of an ordinary great warlock by far. He was definitely one of Tyrannid subcontinent's most terrifying existences. Eunice was very keenly aware of Yang Feng's hesitation. She gave a sweet smile and said overbearingly, "Hand Xianxia over to me and I'll forget about today's matters. Otherwise, although I'm unwilling, but as long as I beg my father, your entire steel city will be razed to the ground." The nearby Xianxia creased her eyebrows. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a touch of worry. She was exceptionally intelligent. After studying in Warlock College and Talia, she was very clear on how formidable and terrifying great warlock rank experts were. Yang Feng was furious and ordered coldly, "You want me to hand over Xue? That's just wishful thinking. Even if he's Warlock College and Talia's dean, so what? If he dares to come to my steel city, then I'll invite him to eat a nuclear warhead. I want to see whether a great warlock or a nuclear warhead is more powerful. Go, get rid of this slut." The beast-type bladed troop's compound eyes flashed with a red glint. Their figures shook and they pounced towards Eunice with extreme ferocity. "Yang Feng, you've got some nerve. You actually dare to attack me. My father definitely won't let you off." Eunice looked at the incomparably savage beast-type bladed troops. Her complexion finally changed greatly. She screamed loudly, her figure flashed, and she madly fled towards the jungle. This area had already been surrounded by the beast-type bladed troops that Yang Feng had mobilized. Eunice had just moved when 5 beast-type bladed troops blocked in front of her, brandishing their alloy blades and fiercely chopping at her. Chapter 67. Get out of my way. Eunice uttered a shriek. The starlight all over her body condensed into a huge ring. It madly shook and forcibly sent those 5 beast-type bladed troops flying. After Eunice sent those 5 beast-type bladed troops flying, her figure flickered and she quickly fled towards the outside. Those beast-type bladed troops' figures continuously flickered. They madly pounced at Eunice from all directions in an attempt to prevent her from escaping. Eunice frantically operated the starlight around her body, sending those beast-type bladed troops flying one by one. After sending several tens of beast-type bladed troops flying in succession, Eunice's protective starlight had already become dim and lightless. An ice snow whip suddenly shot out from the ground. It fiercely lashed at Eunice's tender body. It smashed Eunice's protective starlight. A terrifying ice-cold force instantly enveloped her body, sealing half of her body in ice. As if an ice queen surrounded by an ice-cold force field, Xianxia jumped onto the shoulder of a beast-type bladed troop. She looked down at Eunice and said with a contemptuous smile, "Lowly Sao, you've finally fallen into my hands." That group of beast-type bladed troops at once surrounded her from all directions. Countless insect-like electronic compound eyes coldly stared at Eunice, making people feel a chill in their hearts. Eunice's complexion was pale. She said with a cold smile, "So what if I fall into your hands? If you dare to touch me, then my father will absolutely uproot your steel city, not sparing even a chicken or a dog." Xianxia's eyebrows creased slightly. She felt that it was very thorny. Warlock College Antalia's dean's daughter couldn't be killed, but also couldn't be released. She was simply a hot potato. If you think that I can't do anything to you, then you're gravely mistaken. A faceless liquid metal robot walked out from the side. Its body twisted and deformed. It directly changed into Yang Feng's appearance. It looked at Eunice and sneered. Eunice glanced at the faceless liquid metal robot. Her beautiful eyes blossomed with a peculiar radiance. Her temperament changed, revealing a bewitching and amorous expression, and using a sweet voice that could cause one's heart to move. She tempted. "Is this a mechanical golem that can possess and transform? It seems like you really obtained the 6th Warlock Dynasty's inheritance. As long as I leak this secret, there won't be a place for you in the entire Tyrannid subcontinent. Why don't we work together to kill your uncle and take control of the City of Steel together? After that, it's not impossible for me to marry you." Eunice was simply one of the most beautiful women Yang Feng had ever seen. Even Xianxia was currently slightly lacking in her mature and charming style. Once she concentrated on seducing people, even a stone-hearted person like Yang Feng was slightly moved, the flames of desire aroused. Yang Feng said with a light smile, "It's a very good proposal. I admit that I'm a little tempted." Eunice twisted her body slightly to make herself look more charming. She had always been a peerless beauty that could make men go crazy. She was a woman that could cause the downfall of nations and cities. Moreover, she knew how to maximize her charm. Men are indeed fools who think with their lower bodies. After this, he would definitely think of a way to kill this idiot, and then grasp everything he had in his hands. If I can obtain the secrets of the 6th Warlock Dynasty's mechanical golem legion, then I might even be able to contend against that person. Eunice looked at Yang Feng with coquettish eyes. The corners of her mouth rose slightly and a touch of contempt flashed in the depths of her eyes. A man like Yang Feng who was easily captivated by beauty, Eunice looked down on such a waste from the bottom of her heart. Yang Feng's words changed and he said with a cold smile, "Unfortunately, I don't believe you." Eunice's smile stiffened slightly, then her eyes reddened and pearl-like tears trickled down from her beautiful eyes. She sobbed pitifully in a low voice, "That's too much. I was only joking with you. Do you have to bully me like this? Yang Feng, you're too much. I'll apologize, all right?" Yang Feng looked at Eunice's performance with a ridiculing expression and remained silent. After a few minutes, rumbling sounds of aircrafts flying over came from the sky. Gunner troops suspended by parachutes dropped from the sky and directly descended towards this area, as if a celestial maiden scattering flowers. Eunice looked at the densely packed gunner troops in the sky. Her pretty face suddenly paled and she exclaimed, "Large-scale mechanical golems, so many of them." Bladed troops with battle prowess comparable to that of a pinnacle level 1 warlock. In the eyes of a level 2 warlock, mechanical golems were already considered treasures. The densely packed gunner troops and bladed troops joining hands could completely defeat or even kill a level 2 warlock. Even a level 3 warlock, if they were the slightest bit careless, then they might also fall. Eunice's status was more noble than that of many states' princesses, but even so, she still didn't have such a large mechanical golem guard. A gunner troop arrived in front of Yang Feng and extended its large hand. The large mechanical hand's palm split open, revealing an iron box. Yang Feng received the iron box and opened it, revealing a blood-red syringe. He picked up the blood-red syringe, a smile on his face, and walked towards Eunice in large strides. Eunice looked at Yang Feng, who was walking towards her. A trace of an ominous premonition welled up in her heart. She said somewhat fearfully, "What do you want to do?" Yang Feng revealed a trace of a fiendish smile. "This is a liquid metal nanorobot elixir that I developed by combining modern technology with Warlock's research on biology and human neurology. It has an extremely strong control over the human body. Congratulations on becoming the first user of this elixir." Eunice's beautiful eyes immediately shed tears. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a touch of fear. She continuously struggled and wailed, "No. Don't. Yang Feng, let me go. I can give you enormous wealth. I can help you prepare a huge amount of resources to promote to a level 2 warlock. Let me go. I beg you." In Tyrannid subcontinent, on the surface, large-scale human experiments were prohibited. However, human experiments on slaves and death row prisoners had never stopped. Eunice had seen many mortal slaves turn into warped and terrifying monsters under the experiments of all kinds of alchemy elixirs. She didn't want to be injected with a strange alchemy elixir. Yang Feng's face carried a smile. He didn't have the slightest bit of leniency. He fiercely pricked Eunice's snow-white neck with the blood-red elixir and directly injected it into her body while Eunice was struggling. Yang Feng smiled and said, "All right. Swear, this fierce beast is already under control. You can undo her ice seal." Shui gave a sweet smile, silently recited a few incantations and pointed towards Eunice. The ice shrouding Eunice immediately collapsed. Once Eunice regained her freedom, she silently recited an incantation, waved her lily-white hands, and at once enveloped her body with radiance from several detection spells. Yang Feng smiled slightly and immediately snapped his fingers. Chapter 68. Bursts of ecstasy and ecstasy were transmitted from Eunice's limbs and bones, every inch of her skin and every inch of her bones, making her eyes blurry and paralyzed on the ground, powerless to budge. Yang Feng smiled as he once again snapped his fingers. Bursts of pain, as if ants were gnawing on every inch of Eunice's skin and every inch of her bones. Her whole body was itching and aching, as if her soul was itching and aching. She foamed at the mouth, tears and snot flowed out uncontrollably. She no longer had the demeanor of a peerless beauty, as if she had turned into an ugly, lowly drug addict. Eunice foamed at the mouth, her eyes turned white as she pleaded with difficulty, "Spare me. Let me go. I beg, please. Do anything." Yang Feng once again snapped his fingers. Eunice's abnormal condition disappeared. She curled up and gasped for breath. Her beautiful eyes finally flashed with a whiff of fear as she looked at Yang Feng. Shui's beautiful eyes flashed with a whiff of a peculiar splendor. She recited an incantation and pointed with her lily-white hand. Streams of ice-cold air condensed into an ice mirror in front of Eunice. She said with a sneer, "Come, take a look at your current appearance. The daughter of the noble Warlock College and Talia's dean, what has become of you? Even the most despicable bitch is much better looking than you right now. Eunice saw her battered and exhausted appearance, her pretty face changed slightly, her heart was filled with hatred, yet she didn't dare to refute, she only lowered her head, her beautiful eyes flashed with a resentful radiance. Bastard, you actually dared to make me like this, Yang Feng, I'll definitely kill you. That malicious thought had just spun, bursts of itching pain as if ants were gnawing on Eunice's skin, bones and flesh were once again transmitted, tormenting her to the point of unbearable pain. She weakly fell to the ground, rolling and struggling in pain, foamed at the mouth, tears and snot continuously flowed down, a yellow liquid directly flowed down from below. It was an incomparably miserable sight. Yang Feng overlooked the painfully struggling Eunice and said with a cold smile, Eunice, the nanorobots inside your body have already merged with your body and soul. This is the crystallization of 6th Warlock Dynasty's technology and modern Warlock's technology. It's impossible for you to hide your thoughts from me. As long as you have the slightest malicious intent towards me, you will end up like this. Eunice pleaded painfully, anymore. Spared me. Yang Feng snapped his fingers. Eunice, who was covered in sweat and emitting bursts of stench, no longer had the demeanor of a peerless beauty, heaved a sigh of relief. She looked at Yang Feng with her beautiful eyes brimming with fear, as if she was looking at a fiend. Xianxia covered her nose and laughed lightly as she ridiculed. The daughter of the noble Warlock College Antalia's dean is really filthy, stinky and disgusting. Go and wash your body. Stinks. A bladed troop moved a large wooden barrel over and placed it on the ground. Eunice was ashamed and angry. She had never suffered such humiliation. 2 lines of painful and humiliating tears finally flowed out. She was incomparably miserable. She took off the already smelly Warlock's Chongpao, revealing her beautiful and moving tender body. She entered the wooden barrel filled with cold water and washed her body. Yang Feng looked at the scene of the beautiful and alluring Eunice bathing. He suddenly felt that something was wrong and said in a low voice, Wait a minute, I feel like I've become a bad person. Xianxia revealed a trace of a seductive smile. Her lily-white fingers lightly tapped her lips. Her whole body emitted a bewitching aura of a witch. Of course not. Guji, you didn't do anything wrong. This woman is so malicious, she must be properly punished. Give her to me, I'll certainly educate her properly and let her become a well-behaved and obedient good child like Judy. After Eunice finished bathing, she resisted her shame and changed her clothes in front of Yang Feng. That graceful and beautiful posture made Yang Feng's eyes brighten. Eunice was originally the most beautiful and most graceful woman Yang Feng had ever seen. Xianxia still had to grow up to be more beautiful than her. Her only shortcoming was that she was too malicious. She was brimming with hostility towards Yang Feng. In fact, Eunice's temperament couldn't be considered to be too malicious. Just like an ordinary warlock, she didn't put anyone below the official warlock rank in her eyes. Trux and the other apprentice warlocks regarded mortals as ants. Eunice, this kind of official warlock, similarly regarded apprentice warlocks like Yang Feng as ants. Yang Feng swept Eunice with a glance and said lightly, What's going on with the Gloom Cave? Is this matter true or false? If you lie to me, then you should know the consequences. Eunice thought of that inhuman pain a moment ago, her body shivered and she promptly said, This information is true. There were some apprentice warlocks who once entered. Those who came out alive took out items that proved that it was the Gloom Cave inside. However, it's extremely dangerous inside. Even level 3 apprentice warlocks who entered would have a slim chance of survival. Those who came back alive, it wasn't because they were strong, but rather because they were lucky. They weren't killed by the defensive traps and the strange phenomena inside. Yang Feng suddenly said with a smile, Those apprentice warlocks who came back alive as well as all those who knew about it died at your hands, right? Eunice at once went silent, then said lightly, Yes. Gloom Cave, this kind of relic of the 3rd Warlock Dynasty, is simply priceless. Once a treasure is unearthed from inside, then it's possible to create a formidable warlock group. Yet there's no information about that kind of relic. It's obvious that those who knew about it are already dead. Eunice used that relic to continuously lure all kinds of apprentice warlocks, making them think that they obtained the information by chance. Then, like moths flying into a flame, they entered the relic to look for all kinds of treasures, and finally died at her hands. Yang Feng said, "You should be very clear about the situation inside." Eunice said, "No, those who entered are some apprentice warlocks. They can only go around in the outermost region. They basically can't enter the core region. Even in the outermost region, a strange freak or a strange phenomenon can kill an official level 1 warlock. Without the strength of a great warlock rank, it's basically impossible to safely enter this relic. I only know about the outermost region." Yang Feng said doubtfully, "Isn't your father Starlight Aldrich? Why don't you tell him? With his strength, he should be able to easily enter this Gloom Cave's headquarters." Eunice at once went silent. She's obviously unwilling to answer Yang Feng's question. "Gidge asked you a question, you have to properly answer it, understand? You lowly sow." Shi Shui gave a sweet smile and directly snapped her fingers. That numb and itchy, as if it could make people go crazy, at once spread throughout Eunice's body, tormenting her until she knelt on the ground. Eunice screamed in pain and gave a horrifying answer, "I want to kill him. He's the one I hate the most, and the one I'm most afraid of. I want to kill him." Chapter 69. Yang Feng was gobsmacked. He didn't expect that Eunice's biggest backer, Warlock College Antalia's dean, Starlight Aldrich, would unexpectedly be the person she wanted to kill the most. He almost thought that he had misheard, or that Eunice was lying. But judging from the feedback from the liquid metal nanorobots, everything Eunice said was true. "Why?" Yang Feng snapped his fingers. Eunice's abnormalities disappeared. Eunice gasped for breath. Her expression was gloomy as she said in a low voice, "My mother is my elder sister." Yang Feng didn't have a startled expression when he heard that. In order to maintain the purity of the blood meridians, to cultivate the next generation with even more outstanding soul aptitudes. In Tyrannid subcontinent, close relatives marrying wasn't a rare thing. Many warlock clans had the custom of close relatives marrying. The result of close relatives marrying from warlock clans was the birth of many deformed offsprings as well as some outstanding geniuses with extremely strong soul aptitudes and pure blood meridians. Those deformed offsprings would be abandoned, while those outstanding geniuses with pure blood meridians would be heavily cultivated. Eunice was the offspring of Aldrich and his daughter. Yang Feng didn't find it too strange. Instead, he was somewhat surprised by Eunice's reaction. After all, this was very common in the world of warlocks. "My mother gave birth to a total of 2 daughters. One is my elder sister, the other is me. My mother is his daughter. This is also very common in warlock clans. I don't have any complaints about this. But that bastard, when I was 8 years old, he defiled my elder sister. Moreover, he extracted her blood meridians and used her as a sacrifice to a devil from another plane in exchange for power." When Eunice sat up to hear, her beautiful eyes surged with a touch of hatred and fear. Her tender body continuously trembled because of fear. When Yang Feng heard up to hear, his eyebrows couldn't help but crease slightly. The world of warlocks was very cruel. In order to obtain power, those warlocks were practically unscrupulous. Some formidable warlocks with evil natures, in order to obtain a small step forward, would even slaughter their own descendants and relatives, extracting their blood meridians to enhance their own power. Obviously, Aldrich was a formidable warlock who would stop at nothing in order to obtain power. The power of our clan's blood meridians comes from the star boundary's ancient life form Star Stone Crow. After reaching adulthood, the ancient life form Star Stone Crow was a formidable being comparable to a level 5 Starry Sky warlock and could freely manipulate star force. The bloodline of the Stellar Stone Crows has become very thin in our family's history. That bastard's talent was extraordinary. With the help of blood meridians, it only took him 300 years to promote to a great warlock, and then he was unable to break through for 600 years. In order to obtain an even purer bloodline and break the shackles of the bloodline, I have to go through all of them. That beast created a large number of offspring, then extracted the bloodline of the purest offspring, carried out a blood sacrifice, and made a deal with a devil from another plane to purify his own bloodline. My sister and I have the purest bloodline power among his descendants. With the power of my bloodline, even if I don't work hard, I won't be able to defeat him. He could also slowly promote to a level 3 warlock by relying on the power of his blood meridians, and also have a glimmer of hope to promote to a great warlock in the future. That bastard killed my own sister just like that. He's still absorbing the power of his own bloodline. After he absorbs my sister's bloodline, I'll be next. Eunice's beautiful eyes flashed with a touch of fear, her body trembled and her beautiful eyes flickered with hatred and fear. Eunice glared at Yang Feng with some hatred, her face was gloomy as she said in a low voice, "That's why I said that all men under the heavens aren't anything good. That's to say, I've still caught a big trouble." Yang Feng's complexion sank, his eyebrows were shrouded in a layer of haze. He was silent for a moment and then asked, "When will Aldrich finish absorbing your sister's blood meridians?" Eunice revealed a trace of a smile of schadenfreude. "It should be within the next few years. I'm his woman. If you make a move on me, then he definitely won't let you off. These past few years, no one dared to pursue me, because those who pursued me have all turned into dead people." Yang Feng said lightly, "A few years? That's enough. If he comes looking for me, then I'll definitely give him a pleasant surprise." According to NR 3790 SIXS feedback, the nuclear weapons pre-technological construction had already been upgraded, and 100 nuclear warheads had already started construction. If conventional weapons were unable to threaten a great warlock, then a nuclear purge could definitely give a great warlock rank expert a pleasant surprise. Tyrandot subcontinent's area was extremely vast, it was even larger than Earth's area. And Tyrandot subcontinent was merely one of the countless subsidiary subcontinents surrounding the main continent. Even if Tyrandot subcontinent was destroyed by a nuclear purge, then Yang Feng could still easily escape to another subcontinent. With a portable fortified stronghold, no matter where Yang Feng escaped to, he could still quickly stage a comeback. Of course, if it wasn't a last resort, then he also didn't want to abandon his foundation. After all, every place had its original forces. Once he escaped to another place, then he would have to fight with that place's original forces, fighting over resources and land for survival. Eunice looked at Yang Feng brimming with confidence. Her beautiful eyes flashed with a touch of bewilderment. In Tyrandot subcontinent, anyone who was an enemy of Starlight Aldrich would have a huge headache. Even among great warlock rank experts, only a few were Aldrich's match. Yang Feng was but a trifling level 3 apprentice warlock, yet he didn't care about Aldrich's threat. Eunice was very curious about what trump card he had to deal with Aldrich. Yang Feng's mind moved. 2 faceless liquid metal robots immediately walked out from the side. Yang Feng threw a helmet at Eunice. "Put this helmet on." Eunice's mind moved, then she obediently put the helmet on. Soon after, countless information was continuously transmitted to Eunice from the helmet. The faceless liquid metal robot twisted and quickly transformed into Eunice's appearance. Such a miraculous technique, worthy of being the 6th Warlock Dynasty's mechanical golems. Eunice, who was possessing the liquid metal robot, opened her eyes, looked at the body lying on the side, took out a mirror and carefully examined it for a moment, then praised. Among the 8 great Warlock dynasties, each Warlock dynasty established an incomparably brilliant civilization, possessing unique magical techniques. The 6th Warlock dynasty's mechanical golem legion was one of them. Eunice creased her eyebrows and said unhurriedly, "Its appearance is practically identical, but it's unable to use spells. Its perception is also inferior to that of the body. Compared to a genuine embodiment technique, it's still quite lacking. Its only advantage is that it can still be used when one's strength is very weak." Warlock's methods were extremely strange. Great Warlock rank experts could create another embodiment and use it to walk the earth. Some formidable warlocks could refine embodiments that were even more formidable than their true bodies. On the other side, Xianxia also put on a helmet and possessed the body of another mechanical golem. Welcome to Legends of Cultivation audiobooks, where we bring ancient fantasy to life through storytelling. Follow the rise of heroes who defy fate, unlock mystical powers, and battle across celestial realms. Our audiobooks are crafted for fans of Chinese cultivation novels, filled with battles, breakthroughs, and legendary artifacts. Subscribe and be part of an unforgettable journey into the realm of immortality.